What's up, everybody? It's Brian. Y'all know the business. I just finished doing a water change in my quarantine tank, and I wanted to take the time out to show everybody my quarantine setup and maybe be a little bit more inspiration for a few of you guys to go out and set up quarantines to make sure your livestock is protected. So in quarantine right now, I have a female Bellus Angelfish that is from Live Aquaria. I'm loving the colorations of this fish, and of course, with any new fish addition that I put in my reef, I wanted to make sure that it is healthy and has gone through a proper quarantine period to make sure it's not bringing any diseases or parasites into my display tank. Now, how I justify quarantining is the cost of a setup of a good quarantine system, in my case, is a lot cheaper than what it would cost to get a high-end fish into my reef. So I figure I'd rather lose a fish in quarantine than lose all of my fish in a disease outbreak. So my quarantine system at the very basic level is pretty simple. It's just a 40 breeder, and I tend to get these either used or wait around for a Petco $1 per gallon sale. I have a cheap power head from PetSmart for flow, along with a Marine Land power filter that I have back from my freshwater days. I didn't spend a lot of money on these two things, and I do think flow is very important in a quarantine tank. One thing that you're trying to do is get the fish to eat, and a lot of fish eat by seeing things move through the water column, and having a good amount of flow in quarantine a lot of times will entice that fish to eat. So I think flow is good. Plus my display tank has a lot of flow, so kind of gets them used to what's going to come to the display. I also have, for lighting, a cheap Home Depot shop light with a clip. For heat, I use, once again, another cheap submersible heater from your big box pet stores like Petco or PetSmart. Now, to make sure my ammonia is okay in my quarantine tank, I have a Seachem ammonia badge. These are very helpful in determining when you need to do a water change in your quarantine tank. So, of course, me being who I am and being an Apex control freak, I have my quarantine system set up on my Apex system. Now, you don't need to do that. It's not required. It costs a little bit more money. If you want to do a cheap quarantine system, stop there. Do not add Apex. But like I said, me being me, and I like having everything controlled through my Apex, I went ahead and I have my quarantine system monitored by that as well. The Apex system is just Apex PM1 with a temperature and pH probe. I have an EB8 that uses a 50-foot Aquabus cable to connect to my main Apex base unit, so I can control all the different electrical equipment, the power heads, the lights, the heaters, so on and so on. And I also have an Apex auto feeder. Some fish you get will require multiple feedings a day, and you may not be around, or you may be on vacation, work, whatever it may be. An Apex auto feeder on my quarantine tank kind of solves all of those problems, and I can get the fish used to eating on the schedule that they require. If they require multiple feedings, multiple small feedings per day, or just any other type of feeding that needs to be done. So overall, the system works very well for me. I'm very comfortable in quarantining higher end fish at this point. So like I said, it's just one of those things like everything else in the hobby. You gotta practice it, gotta do it to get better at it. So like, comment, subscribe. Let me know a little bit about you guys' quarantine systems. And happy reefing, you two. Take care.